Using the walking foot on your Juki Computerized machine doesn't have to be tricky. Super easy steps. You can use your quilt guide to do symmetrical quilting and get that walking foot on there to do beautiful uniform stitches. Let's go over how to set the machine up for success. Hey guys, it's Boki here from Gigi's Fabric Shop, home to Juki and Janome Junkies, and we're going to be talking about the walking foot on your Juki Computerized machine. This video is really going to work for all my F series, DX series, even the G series, and even those smaller travel machines like the HT, LBs, and the HPs. All the machines that you can put a walking foot on, this will really apply to you. It's very simple, but there's a couple little things that are important to note, couple little steps, and I always get emails about how do you put this thing on? I feel like I'm gonna break my machine. Help. So I'm going to show you how to put this on there so you can do those beautiful kind of symmetrical quilting, like if you were doing straight lines, grids, anything where you want the stitches to be uniformed and evenly spaced out. That's where this guy comes in, and you can use this not just on your walking foot but also on your regular presser foot too. So we're going to talk about all that stuff, presser foot adjusting, and everything you need to know. It's really simple, but let's kind of get a little zoomed in so I can show you how to put this on. So this is your walking foot guide bar, and this might look a little different varying through the different computerized machines, but I am demoing today on the Juki DX2000. So the DX2000, DX5, and DX7 have this same attachment, but I know there's some that have like a little circle, but more or less it's always this kind of same simple design. So this part gets installed into the machine, and then this part would follow your previous stitch to help you stay symmetrical. So when you go over to the sewing machine, I mentioned you can use this on your machine without using the walking foot. So how this works is there is a tiny little black slit right here that it almost looks like something would go through it, and it's kind of like, almost looks like an upside down hat if I had to word it to you any different way. So you're just gonna put this kind of tapered part through here, and you guys, it is gonna feel like a very hard push. A lot of elbow grease here. It's gonna feel like you're breaking something. That is how you install this, because the whole point of this is once it's inside the machine is for it to not shift on you. So you see how it just simply goes through, and this stays really put. Like honestly, it takes a lot of elbow grease to put it in and take it out. So if you're trying to do, you know, symmetrical 1-inch quilting, 2-inch quilting, you would just adjust this to your liking as you need it. You could even use it on the other side if you prefer, because it is kind of, it would be flipped upside down on the other side, but you totally could use it on both sides. And this can be used on any presser foot. You can use it on that open toe. You could use it on your standard A foot. Really, whatever foot you got to use to do symmetrical quilting. So that's how you put this guide bar on your regular standard presser foot. So now moving on to the walking foot and how you can use the walking foot and these two together. But let's talk about the walking foot really quick. So this is the walking foot that comes with most of the computerized machines. Again, give or take, it might look a little different on those machines, but always head to jukijunkies.com if you are looking for a walking foot, especially for your little travel machines, or maybe you need to replace yours. We make it really easy for you. You just press the correct category so that way you know you're getting the right thing. But this is what it looks like for a lot of the computerized machines, right? It has this little claw, and I'll show you how this gets installed on the machine. And you see as that claw moves, these little plastic feed dogs underneath. These are kind of rigid. They're feed dogs, just like the ones on the lower part of the machine, to help grab and feed the material through. So using a walking foot is going to be very helpful when you're doing bulky layers, when you're doing quilting, even when you're working with stretchy fabrics where you feel like you might just need a little bit of extra contact. This guy is just helpful to evenly feed the fabric, because now you have feed dogs on the top and the bottom to help connect together and pull and feed the material through. So that's what this is used for. And I do get sometimes emails, people saying, oh, well, I have this little white screw and I don't know what it goes to. Well, to answer that question, it goes to the back side of your walking foot. So it just goes right here, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey here, you guys. And you can tighten this all the way down, or it can stay a little loose, but I'm gonna tell you what the purpose of this is. So now, bringing in our guide bar, you're gonna wanna make sure this little screw is a little loosened. You're gonna notice that there's a hole right here, okay? And once you have it kind of tilted towards you, you'll see that you can loosen this screw just enough for the hole's path to be clear. That's what we want. So you're gonna take that tapered part, much like you did, you're gonna stick it through this part. And if you're having a hard time doing it, it's just because the screw needs to get loosened a little more. So see how now it's evenly going through. Much easier than the presser foot because that's what the purpose of the screw is to tighten it down. So once you have this set, you can simply tighten it on this back part right here. So in that way, when you are quilting, it doesn't shift on you. You can also adjust the angle of it, but it's not going to move left and right anymore. It'll help you stay symmetrical as you go. So you can put this on after. I just figured it'd be a good time to show you how to put this on, but let's talk about how you properly install the walking foot, because this part right here, the little crab claw, as I like to call it, is the most important part to installing it successfully on your machine. So let's put this walking foot on the machine. So this little screw right here, all we're gonna do is start to loosen that because that's what's holding the actual presser foot onto the machine. So this little guy, you can discard until you need him. But I'm gonna walk you through how the walking foot gets installed onto the machine. So as I do it, it kind of makes a little more sense to you, okay? So this little plastic unit right here is what's gonna go on the actual kind of bar right here for the presser foot, and then it's gonna get tightened into place with the screw right here, okay? Next up is our little crab claw. Before you can tighten down the screw, you have to make sure that this crab claw is installed over this little bar that has the screw that holds the needle into place. And remember, as I demoed earlier, when this moves up and down, you can see those little feed dogs move up and down as well. That connects to that, making these move. So if this isn't in the right spot, it's not gonna move properly and you're gonna have a nightmare and you might even break it. So we have to make sure before you tighten it down that this crab claw is installed into the right spot. So here I go. You can turn your machine off if you feel like you need to do this. Working from the back side though, I know I don't have to worry about kind of putting this on incorrectly. So all right, crab claw is in the right spot. And once I tighten this down, it's gonna kind of align things as needed. Definitely do it with a screwdriver to make sure everything gets nice and tight. Okay, I'm working with a really small screwdriver. I'm pretty sure this screwdriver is from a serger, but it did the job. So you see how it kind of straightened out as it needed to. You'll see here, once you turn your hand wheel, you'll see the crab claw moving up and down. You'll see those feed dogs engage up and down. So that is the proper thing that we're looking for. And we're ready to start sewing. So at this point, you could go ahead and install that guide bar onto the walking foot if you were desiring to do that for whatever you're using the walking foot for. But the next important thing I actually want to talk about is presser foot pressure, because you might not be using it for symmetrical quilting. Maybe you're using it for something else, and maybe you're using the walking foot and you're still noticing puckering or uneven feeding, which this guy should help you with that. So let's talk about the presser foot pressure and how you can help your machine feed the material even better. So on your machine, again, this location kind of varies. I know on the computerized machines, more so on the travel machines, the location of your presser foot pressure might be somewhere different. So definitely make sure you whip out that manual and you look that up so you know where that is, because this is an important part of the machine. On the DX series and the F series machines, your presser foot pressure is located right here. It's this little dial on the back side of the machine, and it's usually set to a standard setting of 5, and it has like a square around it to let you know that's kind of like the standard setting. But if you are quilting something or working with something and you're still noticing that there's puckering or that the fabric is shifting on you, you might have to make a little bit of an adjustment. So the higher the number, this machine goes up to 7. The higher the number, the more pressure. So I would recommend lowering this. The lower the number, the less pressure here, and always kind of work in smaller increments. I always preach that. Work in small increments when you're making any adjustments on your sewing machine, so that way you can work backwards in time. If it wasn't working at 4 or at 5, put it on 4. If it wasn't working at 4, put it on 3. If it's looking better but maybe needs to be a little bit tighter, start kind of in between the 4.5. You don't have to go exactly on the 4 or the 3. You can work in between. So just make that adjustment as needed, so that way your walking foot feeds the best. Again, this is something you might not have to adjust when you're just quilting, but maybe depending on the layers or the sandwich or the amount of batting or the type of stretchy fabric you're using, you might notice you still have some issues. So you'll play with your presser foot pressure on this machine to help feed it better. Last little bonus tip I want to mention, if you are somebody who has the DX2000, DX7, or the DX5, you do have something called the floating function, aka the micro lifter. And that's found on the actual machine. It's going to be in our little wrench and screwdriver setting right here. We're going to scroll to the next page, and it's this little setting right here. That's what makes the 2000 and the DX7 and the DX5 a little bit better than the F-Series because of this exact feature. So yes, you still have presser foot pressure control, but having this micro lifter is so great, and I'll show you why. So you're gonna press that, and then once you start to make the adjustments, you can go up to 2.5. 0 or 0.5 is kind of like a normal setting for the machine, but if you start to lift this up, what's gonna start happening is the presser foot is actually going to lift up off of the needle plate, giving you a little more grace, a little more wiggle room under there for your fabric to get through. So why is this so helpful? Well, this is extremely helpful because now, along with your presser foot pressure, this is allowing you to give yourself more room in that height. And this is totally adjustable, and you can see it works in really small increments, 0.1 at a time. So you can totally customize this. So if you're quilting something thicker, you're working with maybe like a coat or something, or lots of bulkiness where you need it to feed through better, this setting is gonna go a long way and is an incentive to upgrade to the DX5, DX7, or the DX2000, especially if you were maybe considering the F-Series machine. This machine's a little bit stronger, has that micro lifting function, has a couple other features that I would highly recommend you guys watch our comparison video on the F-Series and the DX-Series so you can understand that a little better. But I did want to throw this in there because this certainly can be a great tool to use to help that puckering situation and feeding it a little bit smoother. On this machine, it's just that one extra setting to make life a little bit easier. So I wanted to show you guys just a little sew out of the walking foot engaged and just go over some quick settings as well. So this is kind of like a pretend quilt sandwich. I just have some cotton on the top, some cotton batting in the middle, and then cotton on the back. So this would kind of mimic like a quilt or something like that. And I'm working with the Glide 40 weight 100% polyester thread here today. It's a beautiful thread, has a nice silky sheen finish to it since it is polyester. It just gives such a nice stitch, but you'll see it's not super shiny either. A lot of people get worried it's like too decorative. I would say it's not at all. For me personally, when I like to quilt, I like to have my stitch length anywhere from a 3.5 to a 4. I'm at 3.6 on this machine, and let's just do a little test sew. So put that foot down. I'm gonna put my speed control a little bit more than halfway. And you can see, I'm gonna put it really slow so we can see those feed dogs moving. You see how those are moving? It's working directly with the needle going up and down, making sure that it's feeding it correctly. And then if you have your pivot feature turned on this machine, which I have to raise this one up a little bit more, but here it is. Oh, those stitches look so good. Just so, having it go through. Go a little faster. And a little needle recommendation for you guys for quilting, I like to use a top stitch needle, 9014. I think anything really smaller than a 9014 is just a little too small. So that's my personal recommendation there, but look how beautiful those stitches look. I can see no puckering. Those stitches are nice and defined. You see those little individual dinosaur humps. That looks delicious. And you see the Glide is not super shiny, you guys. It's really, really pretty, gives it a nice finish. So if you were worried about that, there's a perfect example of it not being too shiny. I hope you guys enjoyed this pretty simple video, but it's a really important topic, and of course, who doesn't want to use their walking foot? It's just that extra little help that you need to push through some of those bulkier projects or those stretchy projects and have it be fed properly to get beautiful, beautiful stitches. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Definitely give this video a thumbs up, comment down below if you learned something new or a video topic you'd like to see next time, and don't forget to head over to JukiJunkies.com to get any of the things I really talked about here today. If you guys need a replacement walking foot, the guide bar, even a little screwdriver, those T-screws, that's probably why I used that little one, is because I couldn't find my T-screw. They grow legs and walk away. So head over to JukiJunkies.com to get all your replacement parts that you might need for your Juki machine, and we have other things on there too. So hit that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on our videos. We post every Sunday new and helpful topics for you guys, so I hope to see you soon. Bye.